name's Sean from the 2020 Cafe, and today I'm going to make a cream of chicken soup with thyme. For this soup there are 4 stages. There's the first stage, which is making a broth, the second stage, which is making the stock, the third stage, which is making a velouté, and finally the soup. The first stage is to make a broth, and the ingredients we need in the broth are here. We have a leek prepared, cut and tailed and washed, a carrot peeled and chopped roughly, a cleaned carrot and skinned, and some celery chopped. We also have chicken here. I'm using chicken thighs. Now for the soup, this is a way that works for me, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the chicken, and we don't want the skin because the skin is very fatty and we don't want the fat in the soup. We want to minimise the fat. So we take the skin off, and which we'll throw that, and then I'm also going to take the bone out. So with the bone, we're going to just chop the flesh away, and what I'm going to do is use the bone for the stock as well. But what I'm going to do is roast the bone with some of the onion and the celery for about 20 minutes at a medium oven. So we just chop this now. There we go. There's the bone, which will go into the stock, into the roasting tin. And there's a little bit of bone here, which I'm just going to chop out. And there we have it. We have a chicken breast which has been cleaned of the bone and the skin. And there are many ways of making a stock. If you have a leftover carcass from Sunday, then of course you could use that for the stock, or you could use a whole chicken fresh and put it in. But this is a way that works for me, so I intend to use this method. So to make the broth, I use the bones and the flesh. The flesh goes into a pan of boiling water with onion, leek, bay leaf, peppercorns and some thyme. The bones go into the oven with the celery and some of the onion, and they're roasted off for 20 minutes. After 20 minutes I add the roasted bones to the pan of the flesh with the leeks and the onion and the carrot, and I boil for an hour and 20 minutes more. So the next stage is making the stock. So what we have done is we've boiled those ingredients for an hour and a half, and then we've sieved them through into this pan, which has been given a rolling boil for about 20 minutes. And it's best timing is not important. What's important is that it actually tastes. It actually tastes good, nice strong taste. And that's ready now. So the stock is ready now, and now all we need to do is make the velouté. So the next stage is to make a velouté, and for that we need 50 grams of butter and 50 grams of flour, and of course the stock which we've made now. So first of all, to put the butter in the pan and let it melt. The thing about a velouté is it's a white sauce, and strictly speaking you shouldn't use roasted bones in a white sauce because it colours it, but we have roasted the bones, and I think it just gives an added colour to the dish. So the butter is melting now, and we'll soon add the flour. And your sauce of course will be much browner if you use your chicken carcass left over from a Sunday roast, but that's not a problem. So there we go, we're getting there. I'm nearly ready to put the flour in. And we want to let the flour and the butter combine, and to make a roux basically. First of all, what you're doing is making a roux. So here we go. I'll start to put the flour in, and we're going to stir it and wait for it all to infuse. You don't want it to colour too much. And what you want to do is let it bubble away. Let it mix properly, mix it well. And we want to leave it for a minute or two, so it's been in about a minute or so. Okay, what I'm going to do now is leave that to bubble away for a few seconds, and I'm going to sieve the stock. I sieve the stock obviously from the broth, but it's worth giving it a second sieve, and make sure nothing goes through. So there we have it. What we end up with here is about 2 litres of stock. I've got about 2 litres of stock. So this is bubbling away. Let it bubble away. So now it's bubbling away, and it's been on the heat for about a couple of minutes. So it's time to add the stock. So what we're going to do is add about 1/3 of the stock first of all. And give it a good mix. It should thicken slowly, so with a bit of patience. There you can see it's thickening now. It's a pale sauce. Keep it stirring and get into the edges. Right, I'm going to add a bit more, about 1/3 again, and mix. If it's a bit lumpy, don't worry, just use a whisk on it. So just get a whisk, and remember always to use a spoon to get around the edges. So if it is a bit lumpy, I'll go with the whisk. Okay, we can now add the rest of the stock. As I said, it's about 2 litres of stock. This now needs to be left to simmer for about 20 minutes. The velouté has been simmering away for 20 minutes now, and we're ready to make the soup. First of all, we have to look at the ingredients. What we have is chicken, thyme, about a heaped tablespoon of thyme, 200 millilitres of cream and seasoning. The amount of chicken you get off 6 thighs is about 300 grams. The way I like to chop it, I like to cut it quite fine in the soup. I don't want large lumps, but that's a matter of taste. It's a matter of your own good, how you like it. So I'm chopping it about that sort of fine, and put it there, and we. Now it's ready to go into the soup. So we'll just put it here, and we'll put the chicken into the soup, into the velouté, which will be the soup, and we'll and now what we need next is thyme. Now thyme is on the stalks. We don't want that in the soup, so literally strip the stalks of the green, and it's quite easy to do on fresh thyme. So just strip it. That's ready now to go in. So we'll put the thyme in the soup as well. The next ingredient to go in is the cream. So what we have here is 200 millilitres of cream, as I said. We want this to cook through slowly. So what I'm going to do is just pour it in slowly. And now all we need to do is let this heat up. When it's a little hotter, I'll give it a quick taste and check for seasoning. What I'm going to do is just check it now. It's good. What it needs though is a tiny bit of salt, not much at all. A few pinches of salt. And some black pepper. I do like black pepper, so I'll put in a generous pinch or two of black pepper. Test it once again. Very nice, very nice. So now the soup has been heating through for 5 minutes or so. It's time to serve it up. So what I'm going to do is just and the finishing touch, just for show, a little bit of thyme. And there we have it, cream of chicken soup with thyme.